Yeah.
Oh, so you get yours printed off.
Do we have agendas?
Oh, I didn't print them out.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, they.
You can share.
Okay.
Sorry.
Find out for me.
We'll get that organized here.
Apologies. He's got one.
Okay.
We usually have more than one.
Yeah,
Four? Oh, here it is.
I got so many papers, I get them mixed up.
sorry, I was,
Where is
this
it?
council packet was a mess for me.
I know.
You are all right.
Friday.
Okay, I have 7:01 this evening. Good evening, everybody. It is Monday, May 23rd, and this is the council meeting. Unfortunately, Marcy Darlington has laryngitis, and so I will be substituting for Marcy this evening, so bear with me as we work through the agenda tonight. The first order of business is a roll call and introductions, please.
Okay, David,
Here.
Bill,
Here.
Joyce,
Here.
Becky,
Here.
Rob,
Here.
Andy.
Here.
All is present.
May we have a few words?
Lord, thank you for another wonderful day, Lord. And be with Andy as he guides us tonight, and be with our council as we make decisions. And Lord, be with our village tonight and touch all the people in the village. And Lord, also be with our country and touch them with your ruling hand. In Jesus' wonderful name, amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, may I please have a motion to approve the meeting minutes of the council meeting held on May 9th, 2022?
Motion.
I'll second.
We got
David
one
first?
and two. Yes.
Okay, and then Bill. Okay, roll call. David,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Joyce,
Yes.
Becky,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Andy.
Yes. All right, those meeting minutes are approved. The mayor did not leave me with anything to report on, so we're going to circle back with her. I have things, but they're going to be in the individual committee comments, so I'm going to skip past those to make sure we have enough time for all of those. Do we have any public comments registered with you this evening?
We did, it was a Shane Richardson, and I don't believe he's in the audience.
Okay. All right, any other public comments? Nothing? Okay.
Did you write down anything?
Me?
Yeah,
No, I didn't.
okay, all right, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I didn't want to ask about something that I don't know when the appropriate time is for that.
Okay.
Actually, we should do it right now. You're absolutely awesome. Go ahead.
From here, or you want me to?
Yeah.
Preferably up here so we
Up
can-
here so we can get you on the microphone.
And then just state your name and your residency.
Okay. My name is Joshua Narwold. Live, I live on 24 North High Street, here in Mount Sterling. Just wanted to follow up on the North High Street, stop signs, speed bumps, all that. I don't know if you've talked to my other neighbors since the last time.
Tried to get around. Mhm.
Okay. From my perspective, my wife's perspective, just kind of observing traffic, thinking about it, I don't know that stop signs are gonna solve anything. I think there's enough room between, East Main or 62 and Houston Street. People are just gonna speed up and then real quick slow down by the time they hit Houston. Also, when we have events in town here, and it gets to be kind of a parking lot on North High Street, I think adding a stop sign is gonna, speed bump will slow them down. Stop sign's gonna, I think, add to that traffic, because everybody's gonna have to stop. So I think, stop signs are better than nothing, but I would still think speed bumps long-term would be the only solution to slow down the speeding.
Absolutely. And speed bumps are a great solution to do that. We will have to, if that's sort of the consensus of the High Street community, then we will have to budget for future years on that. And that is the only thing I can say today, because we did look into it. Speed bumps for those four sections we'd have to do them in would be about $15,000 as it sits right now. We do not have that in the street budget today because our priority is patching. I think I mentioned that. And so we will most likely have to do something along those lines next year or whenever it makes sense to do that.
I know it, Jack and them has stepped up patrols too. I've seen them and they're really got the radars out now and they're working hard at it. I talked to Jack this morning, and they actually have a new radar system, what they're working with, so.
Okay.
Have
you-
you,
do you-
have you noticed, like a police presence on your street and people slowing?
I am usually indoors because I'm working, but my wife is out all the time. I don't think she has noticed, but maybe it's the hours. You know, I haven't asked around, so. Yeah. Okay. And I know you guys are busy too, and you've got ground to cover, so,
Well, I mean, that's a residential street, so
yeah.
if we get complaints, we're gonna be there.
Mhm.
When do you guys see the most speed? Cause I'm here Monday through Friday, 7 to 3, and I know I've sat over there since the last council meeting 5 times, and the highest I've got is 29.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's probably mostly, people coming home from work in the evening,
So
but
3:30 to 5:30?
probably, yeah, I'd have to pay more attention to the times, but, yeah, so. And I understand, budgeting is,
Yeah, I want to give all the residents an option of things we can do literally right now, and if we can, we should. We shouldn't be waiting. But I also want to be honest and realistic with you that the number one thing we are doing right now is patching street surfaces. And so it will be a future budget cycle, which we would have to put this money in.
sure.
Is there several signs there of children that play signs? How many? we
Yeah,
got
there are,
Yeah,
yeah.
I just wonder, I think we, I like saw the 2 little guys there, I wanna make sure on that and
People
everything.
don't pay attention anymore.
Okay.
And the
They
stop
don't-
signs,
They don't read signs.
Even the stop signs, yeah, they don't always pay
They-
attention to that.
Everybody's in a hurry.
Okay.
I can tell you this, the day after council, when I told you I was done with it, I'm gonna go out and start writing, the 5 cars I stopped, and no offense to the ladies in here or anybody listening, they were all ladies, and every one of their excuses, I'm late, I'm not paying attention. Every single one of them,
Did you write tickets?
yes.
Maybe now they'll pay attention.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's in their pocketbook now, so.
Right.
And I also told them, put it on your Facebook, not Sterling's, not the town to speed in. So. hopefully-
Obviously not.
Yeah.
Good job.
Also a suggestion I may have, you mentioned in between Main Street and Houston Street, there's a couple alleyways that are paved alleyways that come through, that would it be possible to put 3-way stops in right there, so that way it breaks up the distance between Main Street and Houston to where they don't have that stretch.
I think,
That was actually one of the places where we were going to propose putting
Yeah,
them.
so instead of having just, one stop, so we can have multiple throughout your stretch of your
Yeah.
community, to where they wouldn't have that.
yeah, and with it being an alley, I don't know if people just miss it, but at the park there, that might be a place where people will see it more easily. So,
Yeah.
I do think that might help,
Okay.
but we just would have to see.
Well, again, I'm committed to getting those signs up if we can put them up wherever it makes sense. If we need to move the dots around on the map so it makes the most sense on High Street for the residents of High Street, we should do that. I just don't want to let, something that we could do today not be done. And,
Right. Yeah.
that's
just to
all.
try it,
And just to try it, so.
It's worth a try.
Any key thing helps to deter, whatever, stop sign or anything will help.
It also gives Jack a little more ammunition because you can write a different type of citation if you blow through a stop sign than you are speeding. And it's pretty, you correct me, it's pretty black or white. Either you went through the stop sign or you didn't.
Right.
And it's,
The speed,
speed's harder.
well, your second offense in 12 months moves it up to an M4.
Mm-hmm.
Third offense moves it up to an M3. So,
Well, and I think it hasn't helped with the people, that live on New Street. Those stop signs, and that's a
Well,
further stretch than High Street is.
they are starting to run it again.
And like Jack said, is you'll get them, and then it'll happen again, and then you gotta get them again.
I approached and engaged a guy on Beggars Night in 2020. Come just cruising right through the stop sign. I live right there on New Street and parked in front of my house. So I walk out to him. I said, "What's up, dude? You just run right through a stop sign." Well, I never knew that stop sign was there. I said, Guy, I said, they put it up in 1998. I moved into my house June 5th, 1998. The sign wasn't up there, but by July 1st, it was.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've been there 24 years now. So-
You'll hear all kinds of
People don't
excuses.
look.
They'll have every excuse in the book. I've had them even on Rosewood run there. And you'll come out and tell them either they don't see it, I'm in a hurry, or they're on their phone. A lot of times I've seen them on their cell phone instead of paying attention.
It all boils down to inattention, but
Back in the
more
fall.
proactive patrol and more tickets being issued, and once it starts hitting them in the pocketbook, they're gonna get the hint that we're not playing here anymore.
I think so as well.
So I would not say let's not do the stop signs. I think that's a good,
Okay. Well.
if that's all we can do now.
Yeah.
That's what we
let-
can do now.
Again, I'll keep this open to you. I am happy to circle back, and we can literally go out and look at the map again and just see where it makes the most sense to put them. The ones with for everyone's background and information, last summer we did a map before we installed all the new stop signs, both on new, and we were going to put some on High Street. That doesn't mean that that was the final map. It just means that it was the study which was done, the initial place where we thought we could put them. So I'm happy to go back, and we can chat about where it makes, we don't have to put them all up at once. We can slowly add them over time. We could do lots of different options. I just want something to happen for you.
Yeah.
That's what I'd really like to do. So I'm happy to
Yeah.
connect with you again. We can talk about where it makes the most sense, and then we move forward from there. But I'll ask for council's approval this evening in the street section to place stop signs where it makes the most sense,
Exactly.
if that makes sense.
And would that be a decision you would make tonight or just
It-
following, going out and looking at the?
No, I would prefer to have council's authority to put the stop signs up
Yep.
when it makes,
Makes sense.
when we're finalized with the map, because I don't want to wait any longer.
Yeah.
Summer hasn't
That's-
happened
Yeah,
yet.
that's what I meant, was the
And-
placement.
Yeah, yeah, mm-hmm, yeah. So we can work with you on the placement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay,
Yeah, I would just want to avoid, because thinking that probably won't be the ultimate solution, I don't want to totally push aside the possibility. right?
not at all. I just want something to happen before, sooner rather than later. Because especially we have some in stock. I mean, it literally is a couple day-ish operation to just get them all out there. So, if not same day. So I'll circle back with you and we'll talk about the map and get it nailed down.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, I don't believe we have any other comments. Moving on to department reports, Mr. Deputy Dill, you're first up.
Okay. You got the nature report in front of you. If you notice, traffic stops are way up from the last one. Traffic parking violations are way up. Was that with the 2-hour parking here in front of the businesses?
I
It's
drove by
looked
one day
like
and
it
saw
goes
all the
down.
tags.
There was a lot.
Hey, Jack, on the one shots fired, was there an active shooting or?
No, it was nothing.
Okay,
Turned out to be nothing.
okay,
Was that the one on Temple?
Yeah, that was up in your area.
okay.
We've had that at least once a year from up and around that area.
Where they hear,
Okay.
They hear
Sounds,
something,
that what it
sounds
is?
like gunshots. This caller said he heard 2 gunshots. He probably did. I'm not gonna say he did, but I don't think it was in town.
Okay.
If you notice down there, it says village, violation village ordinances. Those are ordinances that Courtney had me serve, and there's actually 6 instead of 3. They put 3 of them under civil process up top. So 3 of those would go down with the other 6.
so those are the ones, if I may interject, so those are the ones we actually had Jack physically serve, because as you know, I try to call them and get those taken care of, so the ones on my lists, were taken care of. These ones were the actual ones where no call back.
Hey, Courtney, is that situation, we're having a time, so many people with high grass right now, all
Yes.
over the
And
village.
actually, this is the highest grass cases I've dealt with,
Oh.
honestly, since I've been here.
Well, the other day I walked past one and a groundhog even came out
They're
behind
abandoned,
grass. So
but
that's
that's the
getting thick.
problem now.
That
is
was just past my house, I'm betting.
Yeah, you called it, Bob, yeah.
the situation.
It's a jungle.
Is that these people, like, the ones we're talking about are abandoned, and they're not renters. They're actually owners that are gone. So they're leaving it, obviously, you know, foreclosure or some sort,
Yeah.
Can I
something.
give you a word of advice? This is where your solicitor needs to earn his keep.
Yes,
The old house on
File
New Street.
charges on them, fine them,
yep,
put it on their taxes.
yeah, so that's the
And
next step
So
in the
that's,
process.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
Have they
headed,
found the owner
rapidly
yet,
headed that
Courtney, at the old
direction.
house on New Street? Where
It's time to quit
corner
playing with these
there.
people.
Well,
Yes, we have.
Good.
That's
I
time
can't
for-
safely pull out my
That's
driveway in
there.
my
We've seen
wife's
it
car
too.
because it blocks the view, the grass is so tall.
I know.
It's terrible.
The fire wire's down, that was on New Street. Tree trimmer took out, well, the whole service off the side of our house.
yep.
Let's see, anybody have any questions on any of those? The 911 hang up, landline, every time it rains, that's,
Yeah.
neutral.
I guess my only question is I'm seeing that there are more traffic stops, which is great. You know, the speeding is still a village-wide
It's not. just
issue.
me.
I'm just saying on the speeding aspect end of it, but I do notice there's more traffic stops and tickets being issued. I think my question is I want to know how the process works with the patrol and everything like that. Would it be possible to do a ride-along?
Absolutely.
So I can have a better grasp of what's going on and see
Absolutely.
the inner workings
I'd like
of
to do
what's
that
going
sometime
on.
too.
Yes,
So when I do have an issue or think there is an issue, I know what I'm talking about when I come to you with it.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, just, call the lieutenant, tell him who you are, say, I'm available here this time, I would like to do a ride-along.
All right.
Traffic parking violations. I know that most of those were the 2 hours.
Not most of them,
Really?
about half,
And the others were,
just everything that I've seen setting for more than
24
a
hours.
week.
okay.
Wow.
Hey, Jack, I noticed there's 4 animal complaints with them dog bites or just dogs at large or?
It would say dog bite if it was a dog bite. Those were
Okay,
just,
Okay.
one was, chickens,
Check.
I saw that on Facebook.
That's who the other person was supposed to be.
That's
about
what
their
that was
chickens.
supposed to be about tonight.
But also you see on there, assist another agency. This one started in London. Traffic pursuit. They come out of London on 665, turned on Spring Valley, got on Big Plain Circleville Road. I shot up 62 to London Road, which is Big Plain Circleville Road. I was able to throw spikes. This is, one of 3 that's in a big sleeve, and it's like a big snake. But the truck is a 550, which is a pretty big truck.
Pretty
These
thick
are
tires,
meant
too.
for automobiles. So I got 3 spikes in his front tire and 1 in his back tire before he lost all that. But this chase came through the village, down 62 almost to courthouse, through Bloomingburg, through Yatesville, Midway, Newport, and we got him stopped just before he got back into London.
Wow, that's a
That's a
rude.
long run.
F-550 truck.
Yes.
Jeez.
I was just gonna say that.
Let's see, diesel at
It's a
5
lot.
quarter
It
gallon.
was a stolen truck, so, and it wasn't his first. Week prior, the deputy here got him in another stolen truck, got in a pursuit. We had, the sheriff made him terminate the pursuit. Franklin County picked it up, and Franklin County lost him, so we got him this time.
Good.
Yeah, he was on 38, like I said, at the school. It was near the school, and I thought, what in the world's that utility truck doing in that ditch? And then I seen, I was like, well, geez.
Yeah, I didn't know if you guys wanted to see what
Yes.
the spikes
Yeah,
look
that's
like.
pretty
So how
impressive.
do you throw it out? So like, if
It's-
somebody were to see that, would they swerve?
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, it's in a long, there's 3 of these
Well, I
in a
mean-
long black sleeve.
You could go down in the ditch and go into the field and,
Well, that's,
Yeah, it's
See, I thought they'd be metal.
yeah.
Okay.
But do you throw it out right when they get
But
ready
I
to get
think
up?
it
no,
is.
It is,
you
it
throw
just-
across
these
the
ones
road,
came off.
And you got like a little fishing pole.
But it-
Oh, so they can't
Careful
see
on
it
that
yet.
Yeah,
one.
and you just hold the thing down. When they get close, you yank, and it just snakes right out in front of you.
Yeah, that's quite
But
something.
you let
Sharp
go,
on the one
because
side.
Pull your arm
Yeah.
out.
If it locks up underneath there, it'll take you down the road with it.
Oh, yeah.
So they don't see it
Nice
when
little
they're,
hole.
when they're driving up on it?
No,
Okay,
when they see you outside your phone.
yeah.
It is. Boy, it's just like right out of Batman.
I am.
Hey, Jack, they did a job, I'll tell you that. That's the first time I got a hold one though. I appreciate you
speed bumps,
doing
we'll just
that.
throw out
I'll
some
stand
spikes.
behind the tree.
The thing I wanted to tell you about these is, that F-550, the tires are bigger,
Yeah.
more air,
Thicker.
plus they're more ply.
Yeah.
So it took from London Road at I-71, the overpass there, to the other side of Mount Sterling for his tire to go flat.
Wow. And I assume he's going high speed the whole time.
60 mile an hour,
That's actually,
Was the 550 stolen too?
yes.
okay, so everything's
60
going.
mile an hour was the top speed. It didn't get dangerous until he lost all of these tires. Pretty close to Madison Plains School, when we
Okay.
went by, all the kids are out on recess.
Was he running on his rims by then, Jack? That's what I was wondering.
But other than that, does anybody have any questions?
No, I think we've seen a lot
We've
of,
got a fair amount here.
we have seen, I know Misty, I don't know if you've taken any phone calls, but all the ones they have, and just like what Jack said, is that once he starts ticketing and writing people up, everybody is telling on their neighbor. Everybody is calling in, complaining to, oh, well, this neighbor, it's parked there, or this neighbor, it has a, a car. So if you haven't noticed, there are some vehicles that you probably have seen that have been sitting there for a very long time on the roadway and in people's yards, that I will say Jack has done a great job, because there's one right when you pull out of here that you can see. So I know it looks like a ghost town sometimes in the afternoon, but they're paying attention to that.
Okay, and last thing was the speed trailer, the sign, lighted sign. I didn't know this, I probably should have, but it's part owned by the sheriff and partly owned by the engineer's office. So the reason is, hasn't been here since the last council meeting, when I told you it would be here. The engineers have it right now. As soon as they're done with it, they're gonna bring it to me. It is fixed, so, I don't have to keep taking it and plugging it in. After 24 hours, it'll run down. It's, the solar system on it is working again, so we're good there.
Do you know when that it'll be back in here? Do you know?
I'm hoping this week.
Okay. Okay.
All right, we will certainly take that. We'll use it. We will use that.
Well, thank you for, the speeding and stuff, getting on top of that. And, I look to see the next report that you've got more.
Over there? Agree to that?
I'm sure there will be, especially with Deer Creek season coming in.
Well, Memorial Day, that's,
All right, thanks, Jack. Appreciate it. All right, do we have a law director's?
We do not.
All right. And it is this council meeting of the month when Misty gives us a little update here.
Misty, would you mind coming up to the microphone?
Yeah, why don't we give you something here? That way everyone can hear it.
Thanks, Misty.
That's something you see on TV, isn't it? Okay, this is for you. Marcy asked me to give that to you. I think that's the money for the park. Marcy also asked me to, put these goodies out here. It's for she got them, she was at the Mental Health Recovery Board. Just some pens and little magnets and,
It is Mental Health Awareness Month.
yes, it is. So there's bracelets in there also, but there's a report from them right there. So any of you, when you leave, take it. Take some pens free. And I do have a couple of messages that I received today, and they just have questions. Like I talked to you about the parking, and in front of their houses, or right here on the street on London, and they just wanted to know why. You know, it's right in front of their house, and one lady said that she doesn't have any parking in the back. Just explanations, so I don't know if one of you can briefly go over, you know, why it's either a 2-hour or 24-hour parking. It might save a lot of time in the long run, if one of you just want to go over that really, really quick for them.
What I know about it is the parking in a limited area on London Street is considered the business district.
Correct.
And during limited hours, I believe it's 7 to 7 or 6 to 6.
Yeah.
And they're posted. It's only 2-hour parking, and that's to ensure that the businesses are able to conduct business. There's places for the businesses, customers to park and things. And so if you do live in one of those places, apartments or houses that has limited parking, I do believe most have behind building parking. But you just have to adhere to those hours. So, you know, if you come home from work at 2, you can only be there for 2 hours, and you'll have to find another spot and then come back at 6 or 7 whenever the,
Keep in mind, that's 7 days a week. That's
Right.
not, that is not like, you know, 5 days.
Monday through Friday.
It is not Monday through Friday, it's 7 days a week.
businesses run different hours.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you do have a question, I'm sure it's all mapped out where it starts and where it ends. But the majority of London Street from the tracks
That's correct.
to Ben and Joy's, I believe,
Yeah,
is considered the
and
business
by
district.
the way, it has been 2-hour parking for kind of a long
Years,
time. And
years.
so it isn't, we did not just put up 2-hour parking signs yesterday. It's actually been 2-hour parking for as long as a lot of the businesses have actually been there. So if folks want to talk about it, or we can talk about this in the streets meeting, be happy to do so.
And unfortunately, when people that live there are most rented, so, you know, they're rented apartments where there's apartments up above the businesses. And unfortunately, we can't control that there's not a driveway. So when you rent a property, we can't control that you always get that parking spot, because in public roadways, you don't have assigned parking. It doesn't have your address out in front of that business or in front of that, you know, parking spot. So when it becomes public parking, everybody can park wherever they wanted to.
And I would like to also state that those people that own the businesses along London Street, they have the same rules. They can't park their vehicle in front of their business either. They have a 2-hour limitation as well. So it's all for one for all.
That's good you mentioned that, because that's a question. that
Everyone should
one
be
of them asked
pretty much
also.
equal on this. There's no special pass, there's no like get out of jail free card, there's none of that. It's equal treatment for literally everybody who gets to use the parking.
Okay, thank you for that.
Sure.
I think that will be hopefully really helpful if people are watching. Okay, so down to the delinquents. We have 19 delinquents currently that are tagged. Actually, 18 were tagged, one, it was sent to an entry letter. It's a new property, so hopefully we'll get some response. I got, oh goodness, $6,100, a little over $6,100. 1,000 of that, a little over 1,068 to be exact, dollars that were waiting on the county to send. So hopefully that'll clear it up this week. We have the shut-off scheduled for Wednesday. So I'm sure that we'll be getting those in.
Has that been trending downwards? Because I seem to remember that we were at like 22 or 23 delinquents this time last month. So has it been headed below that for a while, or maybe my numbers are off, but,
I don't think it was 22,000 last
no,
month.
22 people were delinquent.
Oh,
Yeah, no.
11,000
Yeah,
last month.
yeah.
and then, it went lower as we deducted the one person that had the high balance
Exactly,
was in
right.
there. And then the money, we were waiting on a lot more from the county last month too.
Right.
But yeah, I just feel like it's I don't know if it's because of taxes coming back in or what, but it's 20, or actually 19. That's a lot lower than it used to be.
Is the
I mean,
delinquencies
lot lower.
down, Courtney, now? All the delinquent ones, are they starting to go down a little bit on the water bills?
The delinquents?
Yeah.
Absolutely, the
Good.
amount and the number of people. And, yeah,
Good
it
sign,
is,
that.
it's really good. I mean, it makes life a lot easier. No one wants to get a tag, and we don't want to tag them, but gotta pay for what you use. The county, again, they offer assistance for people. Their number's 852-3511. So each of these, the ones that I'm waiting to get back in, I'll remind them. It seems to be the same people. And they'll say, oh, I forgot, or thanks for a call, or thanks for that, and, so hopefully they'll stop that, but.
But again, technically, you don't have to give a courtesy call or place a tag on somebody's door, just as a reminder. Yep, just as a reminder, Misty doesn't have to call or text somebody.
She's so sweet.
It's just a professional courtesy.
Know what
issue
happened to that
still.
sweet person.
Yep.
Go on. I mean, that's all that I have.
Okay.
Again, there's actually, I've had this question before, can we make payments online? And yes, that is a yes. It's just mountsterling.org, or I'll be happy to run your card for you. So, a lot of people still don't use the computers or have internet,
Well-
nor smartphones.
And you can go to the library and use that if you wish. So the internet is available for you.
That's right.
Thank you, Misty.
You're welcome.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Anybody?
Thank you.
All right, thank you for the report.
You're welcome.
Do we have a zoning and building report this evening?
We do not, we have a meeting tomorrow.
All right. Fiscal officer. Yeah.
Yes, so in front of you, you do have, reports dated from May the 1st through the 20th, is what your records will show here. And a little bit on the payment listing, you'll see, let's see, some of the big ones that you'll see on here. The sheriff's contract came out for their quarterly payments. There were some attorney fees that were on here as well. Some special preventative maintenance that you'll see on here, for the fire and security payment on here. And again, these are not anything that's new or different that, hasn't been placed on here before. Again, there was one that you'll see my name on, and those were for the reimbursements of the flowers because the store doesn't take credit cards, so, you'll see my name on there as well. And again, you'll see, as far as revenues, this is always my happy report, so, we're at 52% on the general fund, so that's really, we're above, so our revenues are above what's budgeted, appropriations, which is your expenditures, they are below, and they're, significantly below. So I just wanted to remind everybody is that, as we go forward, probably in this next, some of the meetings that we have, especially in the streets, I do plan to provide to them, some quotes, of some of the repairs of the potholes that the committee had talked about and identified. So you will start seeing some of these, expenses, probably in the street department, with markings and painting and, parking spot designations, signs, we had to place, a few for extra signs, and, the pothole project. So you'll see some increases there in the expenses for the street fund, I will say. Rita report you got, I will say, I received some of the alerts that Rita sends out to, all of their, vendors. And we're actually, and they did say officially, is that most municipalities are getting what they would have been getting pre-COVID. So people are going back to work, delinquency programs, if anybody hasn't seen any, or heard anybody say anything about these notices and letters that have been sent out, so I will say that, you know, Rita's coming back, so we're gonna be coming back to what we were pre-COVID, which is good, so income tax is being collected. I will say that, restitutions are coming back in strong forms now. So you will see in your receipts listings that there was some restitution that was to be paid back from former employees. That is coming back, so just to let everybody know, I am collecting that. So as far, if there are no other questions in regards to the financial reports, I will ask a motion to approve the Rita report, the revenue status report, the appropriation report, the cash summary by fund report, the receipt listing, the comparison of budget and appropriated, and the payment listing.
I'll give you that motion.
Rob?
Second?
Becky?
Okay, roll call was Bill,
Yes.
Joyce,
Yes.
Becky,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Andy,
Yes.
and David.
Yes.
And I'm finished.
All right. Finance Committee comments on that. This council, for the public's benefit, has spent the last almost 2 hours discussing nothing but infrastructure issues. So the meeting that has started, obviously this one has dealt a lot with streets. We're going to hear from water in just a second. And from a finance perspective, we are turning our focus quite literally to almost everything infrastructure as it relates to this town. Why is this happening? Well, 2 reasons. Number one, because the state is making its plan for it. Let's start there. We need to have the rigor and the program in order to actually have a methodical approach to investing in infrastructure. 2, the size of the infrastructure that we have to invest in is so big that you no longer cannot just let it go. We need clearly a water tower, which we're getting close to doing, so hats off. Thank you, Courtney. Distribution system improvements, public safety improvements, street entire repavings need to be done. I mean, this is the type of stuff which we are going to have to work through. So from a finance perspective, you will see us spending quite a bit of time over the summer trying to figure out how to stitch some of this together. Some of it, you know, everyone always asks, will we be able to get grants to pay for some of it? And as we did with the water tower, we will continue to pursue literally every single grant we can possibly pursue to get some of this stuff done. So along those lines, I'm working on a U.S. Department of Transportation grant, surface study grant. Whether or not that one actually ultimately pans out is a big question, so I don't necessarily know that it will, but we're going to apply for it. And again, we look at all of these things in finance, and we're going to have to, just from a practical perspective, ratchet down some of it. So I don't have anything else to add as it relates to Courtney's reports. I think they're dead on. We've reviewed them. They're pretty much exactly where we need to be at this time of the year, but we haven't spent anything yet, really is what it comes down to. So now we're getting ready to do just that, and we will need to keep a sharp eye on how all that unfolds. So with that, I will shift gears over to Pleasant Township. And David, do you have anything with them?
We do not meet again until June 6th, so I have nothing to report until our next meeting, sir.
All right. Squad, Mr. Longcoy.
So we met on the 11th of this month at 8 p.m. and pretty much the same issue we've been having since I've been over there is staffing, medic retention, and attracting people to come work for us. A couple of us threw the idea around and found out that there were funds available to where we could raise the pay. The previous pay was 13, 14, and 15. The reason why there's 3 different pays, you have 3 different types of EMTs. You have a basic, an intermediate, and an actual medic. It was ended up going to cost, I believe, it was an extra $31,000 a year out of the budget to raise the pay, but we had just lost another medic due to a different municipality offering more money, and we can't afford to lose any more, and we need to draw more in. So we raised the pay to 15, 16, and 17 respectively. 15 for a basic, 16 for an intermediate, and 17 for an actual medic. In hopes that that will remedy the situation. You know, they say sometimes you just have to throw money at a problem and hope it works its way out. So that's what we did. And we will meet again, we meet the second Wednesday of every month at 8 p.m.
It's a good crew, and I'm happy to hear that you guys were able to do that. So that is a really important thing. Mr. Tilley, fire.
I have nothing new to report from the last time. We will have a meeting Thursday evening at 8 o'clock.
All right. Water, wastewater, Becky.
Yes, well, as Andy just spoke to, we just had a meeting and all your council members were in attendance. It was with the Rural Community Assistance Program, RECAP, and it was about utility management, the technical, managerial, and financial sides of managing our water system and our wastewater system. We got a lot of good information. Another good resource to reach out to for a lot of things. They also, let us know that they're there to help with grants as well. So I felt like it was a really good meeting. And since our last council meeting, we have not had a wastewater meeting. We only have them once a month, but our next one will be June the 1st, I believe, at 2:30. So if you do have any concerns or comments, anything you want to ask Misty about directly or us, please come out to the meeting and we'd be happy to field any of those questions for you. That's it.
All right, thank you. Streets, I have been working with residents over on Cliffview and obviously, as you heard, on High Street. In the meantime, since we've last met, we've been trying to iron out both surface issues, a gutter issue, and obviously speeding on High Street. I would like to request at this point, since you all have heard the residents' comments, to request authority to place stop signs on High Street to break up the traffic as it ultimately can be done with the residents' sort of approval in order to get those things out there. And I believe I need authority for 3 of them or 4 of them, I think, in total, which will require us to buy 2 new stop signs. Can I have a motion for
I'll
that?
give that motion. I'll second it.
Okay,
Doesn't matter.
Let's, I heard David first,
David
Oh.
first is what I did.
and then Rob
Rob, I
second.
heard, yeah.
All right, so,
David was first, Rob was second.
yeah.
Okay, Joyce,
Yes.
Becky,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Andy,
Yes?
David,
Yes.
and Bill.
Yes.
All right,
Motion's passed.
thank you. We will get right on those. I was also asked by a resident to request that the public show some generosity and some courtesy to those during, who live on High Street as well as other side streets during the big events that we have, like Summer Jam. If you see a handicap parking zone and you're not handicapped, don't park there. That's a start, right?
Exactly.
And by the way, if, you can be just generous with your time and, don't monopolize all the parking spots, that would be very nice as well. So I'm getting that out there. We are going to have a busy summer. They have to live here. We all have to live here. Please, let's all see what we can do together on this. As far as it relates to other surface projects, Courtney has alluded to that we're going to start spending money fixing potholes. So we have 2 issues around this. We actually, you've heard me say before, the potholes always start with ones that we can do today. You should see that we have done quite a few of those all around town. We use what we have in hand, and those are taken care of as soon as we can do those. Sometimes they're more permanent than others, so we were discussing before the council meeting that the pothole repairs on 56 get a lot of wear and tear. And what can we do about that? And the short answer is those are temporary patches. Those were not supposed to be permanent, and we are in the process of finalizing the contractor engagement who is coming out of Columbus to go ahead and permanently patch these things. But we're trying to keep ahead of them to the best of our ability. We will be doing patching in a broad variety of areas in town, and it will not be concentrated, on one street or another. We're going to try to hit as many of the biggies as we absolutely possibly can, and then follow up, obviously, with our own patching that we do, just as a matter of course. So that will be as soon as we can nail down at the next meeting, which, by the way, the streets meeting will be June 1st at 8 a.m. We'll be getting into the actual mechanics of when we can get that scheduled. And I didn't think I said that the finance meeting would also be June 1st, but at 3:30 p.m. Sorry about that. And that is all I've got on streets. All right, Park and Recs.
Yes. Again, we haven't had another meeting since the last report, but I do want to give reminders. The grants, we're still waiting. I have reached out to our mayor. I give her like 2 weeks and I'll reach out and want to know an update. And she was hoping maybe to have some information today, but we have not heard yet on those. So still waiting on that. But this Saturday is our movie night. Super excited. If you've noticed, there's a sign out front of the town hall and there's one out at the park as well. So all the kids playing ball know about it as well. It's the Mitchells versus the Machines. It is animated. And it's going to be a great time. We've had several council members and administration donate some things, and we're super grateful for that. And the movie's free. Bring your blankets and your lawn chairs. There will be a concession stand there. All proceeds, of course, will go to Parks and Rec just for future projects. And so I hope that we get a great turnout. The only way we cancel is if it's a downpour, and then I believe we default to a week later. Is that what we do?
We did that in the past, yeah, but then if that.
Yeah,
I guess
yeah.
it would come back.
If it goes for more than another week, then we just cancel because there's another one coming right around the corner. But I do want to remind everyone, as the sign says, that it's the last Saturday of every month during the summer. So we have a May, June, July, and August one, 4 movies coming up, and they're all going to be a lot of fun prizes, a lot of good camaraderie out there. So come on out. They start at dusk, which is typically right around 9. Just get there a little bit early. We give out some tickets to all the kids for some free prizes and things, so get there early so you can get seated and get your popcorn or whatever and get ready for the movie. So other than that, I'm probably forgetting something, but if I am, I'll catch it in roundtable. Our next meeting is June 1st at 7 p.m.
All right. Records retention update. We did meet last Friday. Had a great session. We continue to run through all the records. If you ever come into the council chambers here, you can see piles and piles of ones we're getting ready to ship over either to the Historical Society or to be shredded. So we're making some progress. We keep going through rooms, and we'll get there. We'll get there from there. Our next meeting is actually on June 3rd at 8 a.m. in case anyone would like to attend. All right. Joyce, nuisance abatement.
We have not met since our last meeting. Our next meeting is scheduled for June 1st at 6 o'clock. What I would like to say, though, is again, I thank the committee for their input on different issues around the village that we've been able to get over to Courtney for resolution. And I personally, in driving through the village, have noticed it's a much-needed improvement as far as people trying to exercise some ownership pride, and that pleases me, makes me very happy. So thank you to all of the residents who are chipping in and doing their part.
Absolutely. Okay, safety block watch. Bill.
Well, we've had nothing new happen with the exception of the electric line getting tore off the house since our last meeting. Our next meeting is going to be on June 7th.
All right. Planning and zoning, we did not have a meeting this last go-round, but we will have a meeting tomorrow night at 6 p.m. All right. And with that, we're off to ordinances and resolutions.
Yep,
We have a couple tonight.
just one.
Oh, I'm sorry, just one, excuse me.
Okay, so we have an ordinance 2022-02. This is authorizing the mayor to execute a service agreement with Ohio River Water Association for an asset management planning assistance and declaring an emergency. So if you want me to elaborate on this one. So in Becky's meetings, we've talked a little bit about, this is called GIS mapping. So this GIS mapping is a digital form of mapping. So it helps alleviate Misty with a paper trail that maybe would get forgotten or shredded or misplaced. This actual program is very helpful when it comes to, in the past here, Mount Sterling, we have not had a very good trail of documents. So if there's a water main break that happens out in front of the dairy freeze, it's never noted unless it comes up on somebody's address. So this actually tells you, and it's in a collective digital form that says, okay, how many water main breaks did you have, and where were they at? So every time we can pull up, you know, if the EPA is asking, or if somebody comes in here and asks how many we have, it's right there in an iPad form. It also locates all water lines, sewer lines, how big they are, where they're located at. It also identifies valves, and it actually can assess management on those valves. So it can say, okay, this one was placed in the village on October the 2nd of 2000. It's been exercised 3 times. These are the dates. Here's the condition of that valve. It identifies hydrants, what their flows are, so it's good for the fire department if they ever want to, you know, come back to us and say how, you know, what's the PSI on the flow of that. It also curb stops. So if Misty's telling the employees to go out and shut water off, it'll say the curb stop shut off water is either in the house, it's on the left side of the house, it's in the front of the house, it's in the back of the house, it's in the sidewalk. The employees can actually take pictures. So if we do have a project on maybe somebody's service line, the iPad will take a picture of it, so that when 20 years from now it happens, they're gonna say, okay, well, what was repaired down there, what did it look like? Well, as we found out that what they believe had happened is never been noted, nor has pictures been taken. So when you get down there on top of it, it might have a 90 degree, it may have a 50 degree. You just don't know what the repair was. So these are live shots of that too. So it also gives you an opportunity for zoning. So when planning and growth comes in here, I know we've talked a lot about it in planning, is when growth comes in here, it's very important to give them the full package. And they'll say, where's utilities at? What is your capability? What is your capacity? It overlays. So when some, you know, a developer or investor looks at it, they're gonna say, oh, wow, okay, your lines, the edge of your lines, where's the mapping? Where's a digital map that I can really focus in, like on a Google map, where you can enlarge it? You know, what are they zoned? There's different layers to this GIS mapping that is very beneficial, not only for zoning and growth, but it's actually a great asset to sell Mount Sterling. So this is as an emergency that has been placed on. So I know I hadn't had any questions from anybody, but
We,
you want to add?
the only thing I would add is we would use it immediately. Like,
Yeah.
we would use it literally tomorrow if we had it.
Yep.
We desperately need it. So that's the sense of urgency that we have in order to get it in-house. And frankly, it's not very much money.
Yeah.
Well, can we speak on that, the cost?
I think it's, yeah.
500 yearly. The first year we get for free. We have to pay for an iPad, but that's a
Mm-hmm.
couple hundred bucks from Staples.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing something on the back page. I must be reading it wrong then.
Those are the different plans.
Different plans, okay.
So we're focused on, so if you turn to the front page of the agreement, it says $500 on there.
Yeah, I seen that, but I turned to the back page. I was like, all right, what's this?
Yeah, those are the plans, those are different plans that you can set up. So you can either get the basic, now, if we want to go, you know, maybe we keep this annual membership, I call it, the $500 membership, and then maybe 3 years from now, we can talk about work orders. So when Misty gives the employees a direction, and say they went out to, I don't know, check a leak, okay, at Becky's house. So it'll hold all of her history. So it doesn't just stay with the owner or the resident, it stays with the address. So if she sells the house, or if there's a renter that comes in there, then you can say, oh, well, it looks like there was a problem, you had a leak back in, you know, January 1st. I mean, it'll give you live time. So, that, if we wanna move to that, there's obviously different plans, but the basic need that we need is utilities, we need water lines, we need projection, we need zoning. That's what fits in that $500 plan.
Okay.
And the thing, you know, it is on an emergency, and like Andy said, it's because it's something we could use immediately. But as Courtney just stated too, it's a free first year. So it's not like we're trying to slip anything through.
Not at all.
Completely transparent. It's free for a year. So that's why our decision is to try to get it moved ahead
So
as
if
an
in that
emergency.
course of a year, we decide, hey, this is not for us, we can just,
Right.
Yeah, we
Stop
actually
it
did
there
do a
and-
little bit of additional research and found that competing plans were twice as much.
wow.
So it's one of the benefits of belonging to Ohio Rural Water. And besides there being awesome partners to work with, we get access to reduced fee services and tools like this. So even if we went up to the Rolls-Royce one, which we probably, I don't know if we ever really would, it still is a great value. But for right now, we don't need it.
So most competitors, so that what he's saying is that most competitors, if you ever were to change something, so like for instance, when we map out the new development out here, so Ohio River Water allows us to do it ourselves, okay? So they give us the training, they give us the tools to use, and we map it ourselves. Now, if that new development comes and we have to map where the curb stops, because, you know, we're not gonna know until it happens, you know, exactly where the location's at, they'll charge us for adding it. So we would have to go back to the vendor and say, hey, we have a new development here, and that could cost you a couple $1,000s just to add it to that program. But Ohio River Water says, hey, we're gonna give it to you, you manage what you wanna see on it. And here's the layers, here's the options you have, but you can actually be the management of it, not us. You don't have to pay us to do anything for it. So we can actually hold the tool for ourselves.
They've been good to work with. They really have. All right, so procedurally, where'd we leave this?
Okay, so this was passed on emergency. You'll be asking for a motion to suspend the rules.
Thank you. Do I hear such a motion to suspend the rules?
Motion.
All right,
I'll second.
all right, Bill, Becky?
Okay.
Do I hear a motion? Oh, I'm sorry, I need to have a roll call.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Becky?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
And Joyce?
Yes.
All right. Can I have a motion to place it on the first, second, and third reading, please?
You have that motion?
Thank you, David.
I'll second.
Joyce?
Roll call. Rob?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yes.
And Becky?
Yes.
And can I have a motion for passage, please?
Give me that motion.
All right, thank you, Rob. Can I have a second?
Second.
Becky?
Okay, Andy?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
And Rob?
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 2022-02 is passed.
All right, thank you. Like I said, we'll literally start using it as soon as we possibly can get it. All right, we're at round table. Who has comments tonight?
I have a couple comments. I just wanted to thank, I was in Florida for 3 days, but while I was gone, I want to thank all those who got together and got the flowers planted up and down the streets. I know Julia and Pat, Misty, Courtney, I know they all had a hand in it, and there's probably other people who did as well. So thank you to all those. The money for those flowers was donated, so that's another good thing. I know we have 4 more buckets that need planted. We got drenched the other day, so we couldn't deal in the mud. So those 4 other planters will be planted soon, hopefully, if we can get it in before the next rain. And with that said, also, I mentioned the yard contest, I think last meeting, and I know the dates have been set. I believe it's June 14th to submit your name or your neighbors or friends' names, addresses, actually, for being judged. We have 2 very non-partial people that are going to be judging those yards for us. And the winners will be announced at Summer Jam on the 16th. And if you happen to be out at Summer Jam, you can pick up your gift certificates that first, second, and third place will be winning. We ask that the winner of the yard contest, we would love them to participate in our 4th of July parade this year. Maybe do something really creative because, you know, I can just see a big flower float or something. I don't know. But so that's going on. Summer Jam is coming, and as Andy said, we need to be very informative and transparent about the parking issues, the change of traffic. We're going to try to be really good this year, working with the Sheriff's Department. We know our flow of traffic this year. We're going to try to make sure we notify everybody who it will affect more. If you live on those streets affected for parking and for the traffic inflow. I think I did mention the Park and Rec Committee is doing a free booth at on Saturday, June the 18th, where children, and now 4 council members have donated bikes. So we are going to do bike giveaways, helmet giveaways, maybe some basketball giveaways. There'll be a little fun free game there that day. And let's see here, there was something else I wanted to.
Becky, is there any news on the Family Feud? Are you still working on that?
Yeah, we're still working on that. We got to hear from the sheriff's department if they're going to take our challenge, sheriff's department against the council. And I do want to tell everybody, if there's anybody out there watching, and I've talked to everybody except for David, and we'll put him on the spot now, but we did, the Chamber of Commerce was wondering if council and the administration would participate in a pie throwing contest where we actually put our faces in a hole, and residents and non-residents, everybody can come up and, for a good cause, throw a pie at a council member or the mayor. So everyone has agreed to it. Like I
Sounds
said,
like it'd be interesting.
are you going to agree too, Dave? All right, so we have a complete sweep. So that will be happening on Saturday at Summer Jam too. So if you want to take out your frustrations or whatever, come on out and we'll be there. You know.
That's what's
This is
called
where it
pie in the
finally gets
face.
real.
So, thank you to everybody for doing that. It is all in fun and for a good cause, and, you know, hopefully it stays, you know,
Somewhat civil.
civil.
Please.
So, that's all I think I have right now.
I need to stand up because this is what I want to show. A friend of mine, maybe, that he's sitting right here, Mick Phillips, and it's got our monument stuff on it.
Oh, how nice.
Oh, very nice.
Mick, I want to thank you, and I will be wearing this Monday at our Memorial Day when we honor our veterans and stuff, and we will be, and it's so great to see that monument and our flags and everything.
What's on the back?
And
That is the-
then it's even got my name on it.
Oh,
In
my.
case I forget my name. But it's so great, Mick, I appreciate that, and it'll be War Monday, and I want to announce, we will be at the cemetery at Pleasant at 10 o'clock. And then we're gonna be at the monument, as soon as we get done there, it should be around between 10:30 and 10:45. If any of the citizens wanna come to that, and, we will have the firing of the rifles and have speakers, and we always talk about freedom, but freedom comes with a cost, and I know my father was a war hero, and sometimes people ask me, I said, the heroes are made, I said, in that way, and I said, and it's a dedication of what they do and stuff, and I'm so grateful we can live in a land of free, and I hope everybody comes out. Thank you.
And that's a Memorial Day.
Yeah, yes. And Mick, thanks again for this. Appreciate it.
Might be making another.
These are pretty cool.
Other comments?
I'd like to, we don't hear Jeff's name enough. I'm sorry, Becky, but I'm gonna throw this out here. Jeff has done a fantastic job at the moment. With all the rain, the grass is still nice and low. The ball fields have looked excellent all year, so we'll shout out to him. He's doing a fantastic.
It does look great.
Yes, it
It does look really great.
And I'd give him whatever he asks.
He doesn't have to
Listen,
work
you
on
pay
that
to say
part,
that.
but yeah.
That's one thing I wanted to add. We hear a lot of talk here around the village. You know, I have people come to me with concerns and voicing their opinions and stuff like that. I'm all about village inclusion. I want the residents to come to these meetings. I want the residents to come, you know, to our council meetings. They're the same every month, the second and fourth Monday at 7 p.m. We can't just, as a community, let 6 council members and a mayor make our decisions for the whole mass. Come to these meetings, voice your opinions, and be heard, and give insight and input as to where you would like the village to go in the future. It'd be greatly appreciated.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Anything else? Hearing none, I'm going to call this meeting adjourned at 8:04. Thank you all. Have a great night. Thank you.
I promise I am not sick. I cut my aunt's grass yesterday. 3 acres, and
Did you say you caught a rash?
no. I cut my aunt's grass.
Thank you.
And it just really tore me